Welcome to CXC Math TV, and today we're going to be looking at factorization. That's the topic for today. And so factorization is one of my favorite topics in mathematics. So what is factorization? Factorization is just an algebraic expression involves removing the highest common factor of the terms given and leaving the remainder of terms in a bracket. So when I was younger and doing factorization, right, my teacher taught me a song to remember factorization, right? I'm not a big singer, but I want you to always remember this, what I'm about to say. Factorization is the process of completely distributing two or more unlike terms with a common factor. So she sang it in a song for us. It goes like this. Factorization is the process of completely distributing two See, I can't even remember the song, so just scratch that. But she sang it way better. I'm not gifted vocally, but we'll just leave it at that. So, factorization, this is an example here, right? 6y minus 8. These two terms, 6y and negative 8, they do have a common factor. So the first step you should always do is find the common factor between the terms. The common factor between 6y and negative 8 is 2. So that's the highest common factor. So we're going to factor out the highest common factor from those two terms. So we put a 2, and so what you have to then do is divide 6y by 2, and you have to divide the negative 8 by 2. When you do that, you get 3y minus 4. Notice that the final answer we're saying this is the same as 2 in bracket 3y minus 4. If you were to multiply 2 times 3y, you would get back your 6y. And if you multiply the 2 times the negative 4, you get back your minus 8. Notice they are the same. So factorization is just a different way of expressing, you know. So here are a couple more examples we're going to try, right? It says factorize the following. Let's do the first three together, and then you can do the remainder on your own. So the first one, step one, we say we do what? Identify the highest common factor. The highest common factor between these two terms is what? 3. So we're going to take out 3. When we take out 3, we then divide both terms by 3. So we divide both terms by 3. So what we do get then is 3 in bracket w minus 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3w divided by 3 leaves just w. So the first one, or answer, is just 3 in bracket w minus 3. Second one, the highest common factor between 5 and 25g. So if you have 5 plus 25g, the highest common factor is what? Just the number 5. So then we can take out the number 5, and we're left back with, in the bracket, we have to divide 5 by 5 and divide 25g by 5. So what we do get is 5 in bracket, 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. So we get 1 plus 5g. And that is our answer. No problem. What about the third one now? The third one, what is the highest common factor between x squared plus xy? What's the highest common factor? Now the highest common factor is what? X. Since the highest common factor is x, we take out x and we're left back with, we're dividing x squared by x then, and then we divide x plus y, we divide x plus y by x, right? So in that case, we're left with x in bracket, x squared divided by x leave x, x times y divided by x leave just y. So our answer is x in bracket, x plus y. Pause the video now and do number 4 for me, please. Do number 4. Okay. The fourth one, remember we have a cubed minus a squared. The highest common factor between a cubed and a squared is just a squared. So when we divide a cubed by a squared, you always divide by the highest common factor. Then you divide a squared by a squared. We're left back with a squared in bracket. A cubed divided by a squared leave a. A squared divided by a squared leave 1. So answer is a square in bracket a minus 1. Nice. Number 5. Pause the video and do number 5 and 6 for me. Only number 5 and 6. Take it away. Okay, ready, let's go. So for number 5, on the other hand, this has what? 3 terms. Since it has 3 terms, it's going to provide some challenge for us. Why is that so? I don't know because it's a 3 terms, but no problem. First step again is to identify the highest common factor. Notice you have 9x, 6x, y, and 3x. I notice x is in all of them, and I notice 9, 6, and 3, they're all what? Multiples of 3. So the highest common factor has to be 3, but with an x on it, since all 3 terms have an x. Now we can divide 9x by 3x. We can then divide 6xy by 3x. We can also divide 3x by the highest common factor of 3x. So this leaves 3x in bracket. 9x divided by 3x is 3 because the x's would cancel. 6 over 3 is 2. The x's cancel. That just leaves 2y then. And then 3x over 3x is 1. So our answer is just 3x in bracket. Notice this works out to be 3 minus 2y plus 1. That is it. Easy. Number 6. We have mx, mxy, m squared, x squared, y. First thing, identify the highest common factor. They all have m in common and they all have x in common. So the highest common factor is just mx. So we can take out the highest common factor mx now. So we have mx taken out. So we divide mx by mx plus divide the second term mxy by mx and divide m squared x squared y by mx. So when we do that, we get mx in bracket 1 plus mx over mx, that just leave y. Now m squared divided by m, that leaves m. X squared divided by x, that leaves x. And then nothing is going into y. So that is your answer. This works out to be mx in bracket 1 plus y plus mxy. And that's it. Easy, easy, easy. Nice. Okay, now it's gonna get more challenging. It's gonna get a little bit more challenging now. So pause the video, attempt these questions for me. Take 10 minutes or 5 minutes, do these 5 questions, then we're gonna go through all of them. So factorize the following. Okay, let's go. Now this one, right? First thing, we identify the highest common factor. For number 7, what's the highest common factor? They all have r in common. They all have r squared in common. No x in common, no y in common for all 3. Since they all have r squared in common, we take out r squared. Now do the division. So r to the 4 x divided by r squared minus r squared y divided by r squared plus r cubed divided by r squared. That works out to be r squared in bracket. R to the 4 over r squared leave r squared. Put back a x. R squared over r squared cancel. That leave minus y plus r cubed over r squared leave r. That's the answer. R squared in bracket r squared x minus y plus r. The next one, number 8. 4x squared plus 16x squared. Now, what do they have in common? 4x squared. 4x squared divided by 4x squared is 1. And then 16x squared divided by 4x squared is 4. So this is your answer. It leaves 4x squared in bracket 1 plus 4. Or some persons might write it as 4x squared times 5. Number 9. What do they have in common? All of them have x in common, y in common, and z in common. We can take out x, y, z. Now we divide. When you divide this by x, y, z, you would get what? Only x leave. When you divide the next one by x, y, z, you just leave the y. Then you divide the next one by x, y, z, and you're left back with z. So that's your answer. Your final answer then, if we can write it just below it, your final answer is xyz in bracket x plus y plus z. So that easy. xyz in bracket x plus y plus z. Number 10. Number 10, what do they have in common? We see they have p in common. We see they have q in common. It's just pq they have in common. So if we take out p from p, that's gone. Q to the 4 divided by q, that leave what? Q cube. So we can write it down here. Q cube minus, put back the minus sign. P squared divided by p, leave p. And then q cube divided by q, leave q squared. Put back your r. Plus, we divide p squared by p, we have p there. And then q to the 5th divided by q, we have what? Q to the 4. Alright, we were all the way down to number 10. My apologies. So, my apologies, we were all the way down to number 10 when it froze. So we took out our highest common factor, PQ, we're left back with. When we take out P from PQ to the 4, we're left back with Q cube. And we divide this by PQ. The square cancel out one of the P. Cube leaves square. So now we'd have minus PQ square R. And we divide this one by PQ. We'd have the square cancel out the P. This leave 4. Cancel out the Q. So we leave plus PQ to the 4. Number 11 is straightforward. We have x cubed plus x. The highest common factor is just x. X cubed divided by x is x squared. X divided by x is 1. And that is it. Easy. Now, what about factorizing 4 terms, right? If you see this in an exam, I don't want you to be perturbed. I don't want you to be annoyed. I don't want you to feel lost, right? You see 4 terms, what do you do? First thing you do is you group up 2 terms. They're going to factorize by 2 terms. Notice for the first 2 terms, they have 3 in common. And for the next 2 terms, they have q in common. So we factor out 3 from the first 2 terms, and we factor out 2 from the next 2 terms. After which we then can factor out what they have in common. Notice we realize that this term and this term now that we have it as one term and one term, both terms have p minus 5r in common. So we can take out p minus 5r in common and we're left back with 3 plus q. That's how we put it in red. Another example. We see 6m plus 3 and minus 4m in minus 2. First two, they have what in common? They have 3 in common and we're left back with 2m plus 1. The next two have what in common? Negative 2n. Take out negative 2, so divide this by negative 2n, you'd be left back with 2m. Divide this by negative 2n, you'd be left back with positive 1. So that's what we did. After doing that now, we notice in purple here they have what in common now? 2m plus 1. So now we take out 2m plus 1 and we're left back with 3 minus 2n. And here's another example. Now, why am I showing you this example? Sometimes you're going to have to rearrange or reshuffle. You see 3x minus 8y minus 4xy plus 6. The first two had nothing in common, so that is not helpful. Sometimes you're going to have to reshuffle it. So even though it's 4 terms, always remember addition is commutative. So you could reshuffle it and group this first. So put it as 3x plus 6, then put the minus 4xy minus 8y. By doing that now, we can identify the first two have 3 in common, and then the next two have negative 4y in common. So we can factor out those two, and now we have x plus 2 in common, so we factor out x plus 2, we're left with 3 minus 4y. Very, very, very easy. Now, the only way we can master this is if we actually do it, practice. So, of course, we're going to get some questions. Alright, so we need to do some questions on these. Don't worry, I'll get some questions on these after we go through this final thing right here, known as difference of two square. Now the difference of 2 square, anytime you see an expression in the form a square minus b square, to factorize expressions in the form a square minus b square, you just need to remember this formula. A square minus b square is equal to a minus b times a plus b. This is a difference of 2 square formula. I can just give you a partial proof as to why that is. If you have a minus b times a plus b, you're multiplying them, it would be a times a plus b, and then negative b times a plus b. You'd end up get a times a is a square, a times ab is plus ab, b times a is minus ab, and then b times b is become minus b squared. But then you'd realize that the ab minus ab is really 0, so you end up get a squared minus b squared. So therefore, a minus b times a plus b worked out to be a squared minus b squared. You just need to remember this formula. So all you need to do is remember. Please remember that. Alright, so for example, factorize x squared minus 9. First thing you need to do is get it in the form a squared minus b squared. In this case, our a would be x. So our a is x. Now we need it in the form b squared. Rewrite 9 as 3 squared. So now remember that a squared minus b squared is a minus b times a plus b. So from that now, our a is x and our b is 3. So in that case, it is x minus 3 times x plus 3. That is it down here. Very easy. Now we have some questions here done. Now, the only thing is that you just need to remember what is a and what is a b. Right? So in this case, now we say 25p squared minus q squared. It's not in a form that we like. We need it in the form a squared minus b squared. What do? We realize to get 25p squared, this is really 5p all squared, because 5p times 5p is 25p squared minus q squared. So now your a is 5p and your b is q. So the formula says it's a minus b times a plus b. So if your a is 5p and your b is q, it's 5p minus q times 5p plus q. That's how we get this here. Over here now, this question. X squared y squared minus 81b squared. First thing we realize that x squared y squared is the same as x times y times x times y. Because x times x give you the x squared and y times y give you the y squared. So this is really x times y all squared. So since this is x times y all squared minus 81b squared is really 9b times 9b. So it's 9b all squared. Now we got it in the form a minus b. This is now our a and this is now our b. So the formula says it is a minus b. So it's xy minus 9b times a plus b. Here a is xy plus 9b. Easy. So let's give you 3 questions to do. Factorize the following. Pause the video. Attempt the following questions for me. For the first one, right? 9a squared minus 7a. First thing we realize they have in common is a, so we take out a, we have 9a minus 7. There's nothing more we can do, and we're finished. We're finished. There's nothing more to do. Second one, we have 8x cubed plus 6x squared. Right? What to do now? What do they have in common? Well, first thing we realize is they have 2x squared in common. 8 divided by 2 leave 4. X cubed divided by x squared leave x. 6 divided by 2 leave 3. And x squared divided by x squared leave nothing. That's it. Now you're wondering, what's the problem? You're wondering, where is the difference of 2 squared? No problem. I'm mixing up the question, guys. You don't know when I'm going to ask difference of 2 squared. That is why it says exam style questions. You don't know when I'm going to give you which law. Now, the third one, right? The third one, we have 9pqr minus 27qrt. what they have in common. I see a 9 in common, a Q in common, and I see R in common. So the highest common factor is 9QR. So when we divide 9 by 9, that's gone. We still have our P. No, minus 27 divided by 9 is 3. And then when we divide it by 9QR, the R and the Q cancel each other, leave just the T. So that is it. 9QR in bracket P minus 3T. Finish. Some harder questions now. Question 2. Factorize these now. Factorize these following. Pause the video and attempt the question. Okay, let's go. So to do this factorization, first thing we do what? Identify highest common factor. So for part A, what's the highest common factor? I notice I see a 8, a 12, and a 24. So I am thinking 4. Highest common factor 4. Between 8, 12, and 24. Then I say B, B, and B. So they have a B in common. So highest common factor is 4B. So now divide everything by 4B. So in that case now it is 4B in bracket 8 divided by 4 leave 2 and we have A there. B squared over B leave B plus 12 divided by 4 leave 3. A squared and then B divided by B gone minus 24 divided by 4 leave 6. B cubed over B leave B squared. Alright, here we go. And then now B cubed divided by B leave B squared. Then we have our C squared. Part B now, the highest common factor. Between 15 and 20, I know the highest common factor, that is 5. And I say x, y, and z, so 5x, y, z. 15 divided by 5 leaves 3. X divided by x, that would cancel. Y cubed over y is y squared. Z over z gone. Divide the next side by 5xyz. X squared over x, that's now plus 4x. Then now y to the 4 over y, that leaves y cubed. The z's cancel. Part C now. Part C, we notice what they have in common. Well, 7, 4, and 9, those numbers, they don't line up, for us to easily see the common factor because 7 is a prime number, right? So automatically, between 7, 9, and 4, highest common factor is 1. So in that case now, we have to take out what? We can take out what they have in common. They have A's in common, and they have what? B in common. They have A squared in common and B in common. So we take out A squared B. A squared B in bracket. This leaves 7. A squared divided by A squared gone. B cubed over B leave B squared minus A squared over A squared gone. B cubed over B leave B squared. So now we have 4. That is B squared. Then now we have A squared cancel A squared, B cancel B, we have plus 9. That's it. Last one. What do these two have in common? This one will prove to be difficult. Think about it. Pause the video and do that one. Now, if you call x plus 2y, right? If you call x plus 2y, then this is really saying y to the 7 minus y to the 6. Now, from that, it's easy then to say the highest common factor is y to the 6. Then you have y minus 1. But then what was y? Y was, put back what was y? X plus 2. This is x plus 2 to the 6 in bracket, x plus 2 minus 1. So that works out to be x plus 2 to the 6 in bracket, x plus 2 minus 1, leave x plus 1. This is it factorized. It works out to be x plus 2 to the 6 times x plus 1. That is it. Nice, nice, nice. The last one.
Wow!
Alright, it's getting more challenging. Now we have 4 terms to do. I want you to pause the video and attempt these questions now. Alright, so in doing these questions now, right, we realize that this one right here, 8m squared minus 12m plus 10m minus 15, we need to identify the highest common factor among the first two. Among the first two terms, right, the highest common factor seems to be 4m. Then now we take out 4m from the first two, we're left back with 2m minus 3. From the next two, they have what in common? 5. So we take out 5 and we're left back with 2m minus 3. Now both of these terms now have 2m minus 3 in common, so the answer is 2m minus 3 times 4m plus 5. That is it. Nice. The next one, part B. Part B now, what do the first two have in common? The first two have x in common, so we take out x, we have x plus 5. Right? That's from the first two. The next two have what in common? 2. So we take out 2 and we have x plus 5. So in that case, the answer is take out now x plus 5. So it's x plus 5 times x plus 2. We're finished. Easy. Part C. From the first two, what they have in common? M. So we take out m from the first two. So we have m minus 4. The next two have what in common? Positive 3. So we have m minus 4 again, because 12 divided by 3 is 4. Finally, take out m minus 4, and we have our m plus 3 here. Finish. No problem. Number 6, or number D rather, sorry. The first two, what they have in common? From 6 and 15, I think they have 3 in common there. And then now, the y square and the y, they have y in common. Do the division. 6y squared divided by 3y is 2y. 15y divided by 3y leave minus 3. The next two clearly have 2 in common. That's 2y minus 10 divided by... Oh, 15 divided by 3 was 5, sorry. And 10 divided by 2 is also 5. So finally take out 2y minus 5. We're left back with 3y plus 2. Done. Easy. What about these now, to factorize these, right? Factorize them. These ones right here now. Let's see if anybody remember. X squared minus 16. Always remember, once you say x squared minus 16, starting difference of 2 squared. So we can rewrite it as x squared minus 4 squared. So then now the law tells us it's x minus a, or a minus b times a plus b. So now this is x plus 4 and we're finished. Part B, y squared minus 49 is what? Y squared minus 7 squared. So that is y minus 7 times y plus 7. Done. Part C, 4m squared minus 36. 4m squared is 2m times m. So 2m times 2m is 2m squared. 36 is 6 squared. So this is now your A, 2m, and 6 is your B. So that is 2m minus 6 times 2m plus 6. Easy. Part D. Part D, you have 16 minus 9t squared. That is now, 16 is 4 squared. 9t squared, remember, is 3t all squared. So this is now 4 minus 3t times 4 plus 3t. And we're done. Nice. Part E. T to the 4 minus 81. This is what now? This is t squared square minus 81 is what? 9 square. So this works out to be t squared minus 9, because this is t squared, say a, t squared plus 9. But then t squared minus 9 is another difference of 2 squared, because this is now what? T squared minus 3 squared times t squared plus 9. So this part now we can rewrite as t minus 3 times t plus 3 times t squared plus 9. And that is it. Nice. This video was beneficial, but the best way to get better at mathematics is to just keep practicing. So keep practicing and you will get better over time. Alright, so just take care. Remember to like and to subscribe. Have a wonderful day.